You're an online business owner or entrepreneur. In this video, I'm going to tell you the exact process you need to follow to get as lean as possible, get shredded, see abs in the quickest time possible. So the reason I'm making this video is because recently I had someone ask me a question, and he was an online business owner. He is a course creator and has an agency as well. And he said, I want to get as lean as possible, but I'm spending all my time, effort, energy into growing my business. I'm wanting by the end of the year to just get in the best shape as I possibly can. And I said, right, this is what we're going to do. So by the end of this video, there's absolutely no reason, if you're an online business owner or just entrepreneur in general, as to why you can't get really lean and see your abs for the first time if you've never seen them. So this is going to be purely focused on losing fat, dropping body fat, not necessarily getting as big as possible and getting as massive, like a bodybuilder, for example. So he said to me, this person, that he was always spinning his wheels. He was always looking online to find the best routine, to find the best structure, to find the best process to get as lean as possible, but he was never actually able to do it. And I said, right, well, what is your current situation like? And he said, well, I'm running my agency. I'm spending 12, 13, 14 hours every single day at my desk, staring at my computer and sat in a hunched position. And I find myself feeling achy, sore, and I'm putting on quite a bit of body fat around the middle. And I said, right, okay, so what have you tried to get over this? And he said that he tried loads of different routines. He tried, 4 on, 4 off splits. He tried upper body splits. He tried powerlifting, bodybuilding styles splits. But a lot of the time when he was in a gym routine, he was spending 6, 7 days a week in the gym, and they were all over an hour sessions. He said he felt really sore and he didn't know what to do so that he could actually optimize his time and not feel like it was at the detriment to his business, but still get in the best shape of his life and, see his abs and drop some body fat. And then I said, right, what about your nutrition, your sleep, recovery? What have you tried with that? And he said with the nutrition, he'd tried following the carnivore diet, didn't like it, didn't sit well with his stomach. So he had tried the intermittent fasting, so essentially just eating in a short period of time throughout the day. Didn't like that. He started to feel really hungry, affected his energy. And I said, right, let's break it down. Let's forget all of that, and we need to figure out what's going to work for you first. But I'll get back to that in a few minutes' time. And then I said, what about your sleep? What about your recovery? What about your maintenance and long-term outlook? And he said that he didn't really focus on his sleep that much. He would stay up till 11:30, midnight, 1 in the morning, working on the business, replying back to emails, organising his small team. He only had a couple of contractors working. And he said all of his mental bandwidth was taken up on that. So even though he wanted to get in really good shape and see abs and drop body fat, he's seen it as such a chore. It was almost like an extra task he just could not be bothered to do. And I was like, right. So by the sounds of it, your sleep isn't great. And he said, no, it's not good at all. I maybe get 4 to 5 hours of good sleep per night, constantly just switched on. It takes me hours to get to sleep, and then I wake up and I'm straight back at the desk. And I was like, right, okay, let's break everything down. So if you're someone who's an online business owner and you are someone who was wanting to drop body fat, get lean, see abs, get in really good shape, this is the exact process that you need to follow. I've done this with not just that client, but I've done it with other business owners who, for example, I had a client who ran an IT consultancy business, and he was trying to drop body fat, but he was someone who spent, again, all of his days running the business. He didn't have time to spend in the gym. He didn't have time to spend organizing his meals, and he didn't have time to spend analyzing his sleep metrics, for example. And I've also had clients who are web design agency owners. For example, he was the same age as me. I spoke about this in a previous video. He was someone, again, who was a small team. He only had one person working with him, and it worked for him. He got lean, got in the best shape of his life, and he had more energy and productivity to focus on his business. So if you don't know already, I am Lewis. I've worked with thousands of clients over the past 10 years, over 100 of them being high performers, entrepreneurs, business owners, online business owners, to transform their body, health, and performance without disrupting the busy schedule. And I do this through a thorough analysis process, a full deep dive into exactly your current situation. So let's break it down, what I would do and what I did with my current client example here, and what I'd recommend you do as well if you're an online business owner or business owner in general. So the first step is we need to do a full analysis. How are we supposed to know exactly what you need to do and what your current health and performance looks like if we don't know your current situation? So we need to do a thorough analysis. So I've actually teamed up with a company who can send out a blood sample kit. You prick your finger, send it back off, and then we can get a full deep dive into your current health, such as all the biomarkers, such as testosterone, for example, and everything else. So we know exactly where your health is at. And this is what I said to this client. I said, right, we're going to do this. And then everything we do after that is a reference point to your health. So we can do this again in a few months' time, and then we can see how much you've improved. And he thought, do I really need to do that? I'm only in my late 20s. I shouldn't really feel like my biomarkers are bad. My biomarkers shouldn't really be that bad. And I said, yep, I completely understand. Let's just get them done. And what we found in the first week when we got this done, his testosterone levels were low. And this is why he wasn't performing at the highest level. This is why when a male who's in the late 20s feels tired, feels drained, feels run down, but they're all a byproduct of working on the business 24/7, not being in good shape, not being healthy, and not performing at the highest level, and being stressed. This is obviously going to be at the detriment to your long-term health, and I'm assuming you don't want that, and obviously my client didn't either. So once we did that, I knew exactly where his health markers were. And as I said, that the primary goal of this video is to get as lean as possible. So once we knew that, I put a plan in place. So the next step of the process was training. We need to optimize his training, which wasn't spending hours in the gym, which wasn't taken away from running the business, which wasn't going to just put more stress and reduce his energy levels. Because if he spent too long in the gym, he would end up feeling sore. He wouldn't be able to spend time actually running the business because he'd be spending a lot of the time in the gym and wondering what he needed to do without really making much progress. So I said, right, 3 sessions a week, 30-minute sessions, full body sessions. That's all you need. And he said, really? And I was like, yes, you do not need to be spending any more. And he said, well, I've read online, I need to spend more time in the gym. I need to be doing hour and a half, 2-hour-long sessions to get the results. I want to get as lean as possible. And I said, look, trust me, let's just get you on 3 sessions a week, 30 to 40-minute max sessions, and then you're in and out the gym. You can get back home. You've got the workout done. Get back on working on the business. So we implemented that. The third step was optimizing his sleep. So I got him, as I do with all my clients, I get them to get some type of sleep tracker, which a lot of the time is some type of watch. You can use an Apple Watch, Garmin, Fitbit. Whoop seemed to be the best. So we got him a Whoop, and I said to him, right, let's just track your sleep. And what we found was that he was only getting a few hours of good, deep sleep per night. Obviously, the reason why he was feeling so drained, feeling so stressed, he wasn't recovering from his day-to-day life, wasn't recovering from his training. And this actually, again, was a detriment to him putting on body fat, which I'll link to in a second with his nutrition. Because he wasn't sleeping very well, he was tired, which meant that he'd go to the kitchen and consume more calories, which meant he was in a calorie surplus, which meant that he wasn't able to get lean. I hope you can see this chain reaction almost, which all stems from not optimizing your health and not getting good quality sleep. So that was the next step, sleep. So what we did is we implemented a few little habits. The first step, and I've said this in other videos as well, last meal, no later than 7 o'clock. So around 3 to 3.5 hours, ideally, before you get into bed. This is to let the body relax a little bit. The last thing it wants to be doing is digesting food when you're in bed, and if you've only eaten half an hour before and you're full. So that was the first step in the sleep. Second step in optimizing the sleep was no more emails, no more screens after 8 o'clock, so 2 hours before bed. For other people, I'd recommend longer than this, but for him, we couldn't dive straight in at the deep end. We needed to make sure it was realistic. So we stopped screen time 2 hours before bed. Third step was reading before bed, getting into bed and reading. Ideally a fictional book, so his mind wasn't constantly racing. And then after that, fourth step to optimizing sleep was cool room. Make sure that your room isn't really hot. Especially in the UK, I know this, we don't have AC. It's absolutely boiling in the summer, not ideal. Get some type of aircon unit or just something you can do to cool the room down. And then the last step of optimizing his sleep was to set a bedtime, a strict bedtime. So for him, it was 11 o'clock. No later than 11 o'clock, all lights out. So that means he can set an alarm for 6:37 in the morning and he can get 8 hours sleep. It did take a little bit of time for him to get used to this. I'm not going to lie, I'll be completely upfront. It wasn't something where we just flicked the switch and it just happened instantly. It took him a few weeks. It took him 2 to 3 weeks to get used to it. But what we found is it completely changed his energy, focus, and productivity. And I'll get to that in a second. So that was the third step. So just to go over what we've set up to now. Number 1, we did a full health analysis. Number 2 was training. Number 3 was nutrition. And number 4 was full sleep analysis. So in regards to the nutrition, I don't think I've actually said that yet. So the nutrition, he was following strict diets, as I said, and then he was jumping between carnivore, intermittent fasting, etc., etc. And I said, we need to track your calories for the first few weeks. We need to see where your current calorie consumption is. So what we found, we had 2 weeks of strict tracking every single day, which really doesn't take that long. If you're someone who thinks I can't be bothered to track, it takes too long. It does not. It takes a few minutes every single day. You don't need to do this forever, just for the first few weeks, so we can see where your current calorie consumption actually is. And what we found was that he was consuming over 3,000 to 3,500 calories every single day, when he thought he was consuming around 2,300. So he was over-consuming by nearly 1,000 calories every single day. And this is so common. And going back to not optimizing his sleep, and it was because the reason he was doing this is because he was so drained, so tired energy every single day. He felt like he had to have numerous coffees every single day. He felt like he had to eat snacks every few hours just to try and boost his energy a little bit. So that was the fourth one. We tracked his calories, and then from there we put in a sustainable eating protocol which works specifically for him, eating foods he actually enjoyed, where he didn't have to spend hours in the kitchen. And then the fifth step, which I say to everyone, this is almost like the holistic step, making sure all the 4 previous steps, so the health analysis, the training, the nutrition, the sleep optimization, is completely succinct. So it's all working together. Because if one step was working, but the other 3 weren't really working that well, that means the 5th step isn't complete. So think of the 5th step is almost the 4 previous steps working in coherence and actually having that cohesion together with each other so that it's sustainable, has that long-term outlook, has that longevity in mind. And you might be thinking, well, how does all of this help me get shredded? Without this 4 to 5 step process, nothing is going to actually have that longevity in mind. So what you want to do, and this is what I said to him, we need to start with the analysis, see where your current situation is, your current health markers, and see what we need to actually implement. And by efficiently changing his training routine so that he wasn't spending hours in the gym, he would get in and out, but still with the focus on resistance training, and then his nutrition. Once we'd done the first few weeks of calorie tracking, I knew where to set his calories. So we set his calories at around 2,300, which he thought they were originally. So nearly 1,000 below where they actually were within 8 weeks. It wasn't even 12 weeks. I mean, 12 weeks he made even more gains, but within 8 weeks, we didn't track his body fat percentage, but I know for a fact he dropped about 8 to 10 pounds. And he's seen abs for the first time. You could see the outline of his abs, all because we did a full analysis of his current situation, all because he actually optimized his training, wasn't spending hours in the gym so that he could spend more time growing the business. And we optimized his nutrition and figured out exactly what his calorie consumption was, so we could set an actual target for him. And the 4th one, we optimized his sleep. He had more energy to spend going into the gym, which meant he could lift heavier weight, which meant he could burn more calories in those sessions, but also build muscle, etc., etc. And then that meant it was sustainable. It was something which he could sustain for the long term, and he optimized his health. We redid the health test, which we did on week 1 at the end, so after 12 weeks, and we found his testosterone levels got back to where they should have been originally for someone of his age, and found that he felt great. He seen abs for the first time, as I said before. He was able to spend more time on his business. He was able to grow his business within that time frame because of all the positive benefits I've just discussed. So if you're someone who's running an online business, or any business for that matter, I'd highly recommend following these 4 to 5 steps to make sure that you can give you the best chance of dropping body fat, getting in great shape, but more importantly, optimizing your health and performance so that you can spend more time focusing on your business while getting the best shape of your life. So if you're someone who still doesn't really know what the one thing is which you need to focus on and the one problem you have, if you head to the link in the description, there's a completely free body health and performance quiz there, which does exactly that. It'll only take you 2 or 3 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.